Okay, so Meg Thee Stallion has canceled the European leg of her tour. I don't know if you guys saw, but when she had initially announced her tour and the tickets went on sale and everything, all the Meg haters were like, "Oh, she's not selling out this tour, like the tickets aren't selling." They went on sale, or they were being sold at a discount as a result of her tickets not selling that much. And then her European, like I thought it was just like part of it, but the entire European leg of the tour was canceled. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit and ask you like why you think that is the case. And I don't know, like, why do you think Meg's, like, the whole European tour was canceled, and what do you think the consequences of this for her career are moving forward, since they probably spent a good amount of money on this already, right? Even though she hadn't got there yet.
I think to kind of have a full discussion, you kind of have to get into the entire tour on this. Because remember when I first talked about this, I said, yo, that's a big deal that they're doing arena tours for her as an artist. Like, that means there's people around you that expect a lot. And academics, for his reasons, he's been following this since the beginning, talking about the sales and things of that nature. There was
because he's a hating ass bitch.
I mean, there was talks that she had to change the price of a lot of her tickets. So that affects her bottom line.
Yeah.
That it don't affect nobody else but the artist. The artist is the only person who's taking less in the situation.
Yeah, because everyone gets paid beforehand.
So she ends up losing money in regards to that. The facts that it just seems like maybe from a global perspective, she may not be that big. She may not be that interesting. Like, we may be seeing a real cap on what black women can do outside of the country.
And I think that's a realistic cap.
Because if she's still with Glorilla, it's not like she got with what's the shawty's name? What's a white girl she could probably get with? Maybe that's the same.
It's like she's on tour like with like Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, her.
I'm working late. Like
she
that's
would
kind
kill
of my
Europe.
shit.
She would kill Europe.
But damn, I forgot my point. Continue what you were saying.
Well, I will say the blowback is going to be we're probably going to either see her having to owe a lot of money.
Yes. Okay. So the appeal of like very specific black women who only serve like a African American aesthetic, right? Like Megan, like Cardi, like Glorilla. Like, I don't think realistically that any of the higher ups should have thought that she would have made it out of the U.S. market. I think that y'all don't have a good grasp on blackness, on people of African descent, if you don't agree with being called black. I feel like you outside of the U.S., black people like completely different things.
Okay, I was trying to say, where are you getting at with that?
Yeah. So you thinking that Meg would do well outside of the U.S. is short-sighted, and you don't know black people as well as you think you do, because African Americans and the rest of the diaspora have completely different tastes, I feel like. And Meg is not an artist that I think would do well outside of the U.S. with the sexuality of her songs, and like there are so many other countries of black descent, of African descent, where morality is way more apparent in the culture than the United States is. I know as somebody from Haiti that like our problem as Caribbean people with y'all as African Americans is we feel like y'all are not classy enough. It's respectability politics through and through. But like when you have somebody like Megan Thee Stallion trying to make it outside of the U.S. market, then you have to take that into consideration. And women in Jamaica aren't going to like her because she's shaking her ass. Women in Haiti aren't going to like her because she doesn't come off as Catholic. Like, there's so many things that you have to take into consideration. So it's not just like, would she do well outside? Like, black women outside of the African American market, how do they consume things? And people don't give a fuck about that, for real. And that's why she failed.
I think there also just shows like there's a lot of people in the business. Like I said, she's with Jay-Z and shit like right now. There's a lot of people in this business who still feel the old way of thinking. Meaning, like, if you're a success in America, you're going to be a success around the globe. That used to be a common, thought process. Like, hey, I'm going to get my artists in America. Once they get popular in America, because we're the hub of entertainment, everybody else is going to accept it. I just think we're just kind of seeing like it doesn't work the same way with black women. Even in reverse.
Nothing does.
No, in reverse it does. There's the women basketball players. They make way more money overseas than they do at home.
Okay.
When they do a sport. But it seems
that's
like
not something I would know about, guys.
But if you think about it, it's when women hold themselves, they make more here in the States than they will in other countries.
When women
hold themselves. I just used an aggressive term for it.
Okay. What does that mean?
Over-sexualize themselves, objectify themselves.
Okay.
They use their bodies as sex objects in their art.
Yes, because sexuality is more valuable in the American market than it is in other markets. If you were doing that,
it depends. And what you mean by valuable?
Depend.
Valuable in currency, yeah.
Yes,
but not valuable as.
But that's what we mean as Americans as valuable, because currency is over everything. Like when you go to another country and your sexiness is deemed as something that makes you a horrible whore, you're not gonna do that. But here, you're gonna sell more when you do that. So it is different.
And I would love to look at it how that is with white women too. Like, do they feel like they have to be? Because it seems like with Taylor Swift, if she was the control for this conversation, it doesn't feel like she is the
control for most of these conversations. To be fair,
because it doesn't look like anything's different from her tour on the out in America than it is on the.
Yeah,
it's not like she changes
the same
it up.
Shit. No, it's the same shit. She's doing the same shit.
So that's why I mean it's just interesting.
But do you think it's because white people have lower standards for their entertainers than black people do?
I don't think they have lower standards.
There's several layers to this conversation.
I don't think it's lower standards that they have for it. I think there's a relatability factor that they have. Like once they really find somebody they like, they gravitate way more than we have. And plus,
do you mean black people or white people?
White people.
Okay.
And also I think she extends more because when you go to Europe, this is the tour that Megan was on. When you go to a European tour, even though Taylor Swift cleans house around the world,
white people they're gonna
all
like over
her.
the globe.
They're gonna like her. Like I don't see a reason for why they wouldn't, because she had that same appeal around. But
that's what I'm saying. I think Taylor Swift is a little bit more universal than Meg Thee Stallion, because I think I didn't even know that the African American experience was that diverse until I left New York and moved to Georgia. And Georgia is a state of implants. So I met people from Louisiana, North Carolina, Chicago. Like I met black people from everywhere. And I finally realized that each black state has their own culture that is specific to them. So like if you don't appeal to a specific black culture, then you're not going to have the hearts of all of the black people. I feel like it is very hard for black artists to just take over generally.
I would say too, it's the opposite too. And what we talked about in regards to their morality or how they subject to, like a hip hop artist in the States may have a hard time gaining traction and being able to do big shows, but they'll go to Europe. Like Waka go to Europe and it's crazy over there. But it's like, I guess it's
Tyler in his.
Well, Tyler's different. I feel like
Tyler's early.
Yeah, I feel like Tyler's a little bit different. Like he doesn't fall into the argument I'm making.
You definitely right about that.
My argument is that they are okay with that image from especially black men. Like 50 Cent go crazy overseas. Like gangster rap for the most part does have an appeal over there.
Underground rap does,
especially
too.
Older rap, like Jadakiss, all that stuff like that. Yeah. They go crazy over there.
I was gonna say like Mos Def, like niggas like that go crazy overseas.
Yeah, I don't know if they do arena tour overseas, but I know for sure they got a run that they doing, and they clearing house.
Yeah, I like that for y'all. Y'all keep making that white money.
But I mean,
and I want y'all to charge them more.
It's kind of problematic though.
Is it to keep taking white people's money?
Well, to take it by being a Sambo. Modern day Sambo.
Are you being a Sambo if you're making your content more palatable to white people so that you can steal their money so that you can give it to black people? Okay, I'm not saying.
Do you know that last part doesn't happen?
Okay, that's what I was about to say.
That last part has never happened in history.
The last part was definitely a stretch. But I do think I do think that it isn't worth anything at all if you're playing that role and then just keeping the money for yourself.
I mean, that's what they all do. That's why it's never been worth anything.
So I do agree with you. Y'all niggas is garbage.
Well, hopefully, Megan, y'all can figure something out. It just also shows the lack of star power now. Like, we're never going to have these big stars anymore. I think that's really what this is overall saying.